And that's how the theme song goes. Welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. This is if you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. It's a website. Go there. I think I already said that part. The reason why I'm laughing is because I tried to be fancy and set the recording from the laptop and on the keyboard, but it didn't work the first time, nor did it work the second or third time. And now we are here in this conversation. It's not really a conversation. It's one-sided. Is it a conversation if it's one-sided? It's more like I'm talking at you. I want you to feel, if you want, I want you to feel like you can respond to me at any point. Not over Twitter, not over Facebook, not even in the comments of the podcast feed, if that's a thing. I want you to go ahead and say, start talking. Just start talking. Just talk to me as if I'm talking to you in their car. All right. So I'll give you a few canned responses. So here's me agreeing with you. I agree. Here's me disagreeing with you. I disagree. Here's me trying to interject, but you're interrupting me while I'm trying to interject. Yeah, but I understand. All right, fine. And there you go. I feel like I covered every good aspect of a conversation that somebody needs to do. So you're welcome for doing that, and thank you for allowing me to have this conversation with you. Anyway, this is not what the Constitution is about. This is a podcast about we get in here. I say some dumb things. I try to make it a statement, and that's what the Constitutionals are. And so now, let's move on to the first statement. Very good at this, I promise. Really good around this. First up, the Trollhunters TV show returned to Netflix. To much of I wasn't surprised. I knew it was coming. I've been waiting for this for weeks. I've been waiting for this for months, ever since the first part. Apparently, these are in parts and not seasons. So ever since the first part was uploaded, nary upon 8 months ago. It wasn't a year. It had to be 8 months ago because it had to come this year. First part, 26 episodes. Second part is 13 episodes. Apparently, there's a third part, and it's going to be, I assume, 13 episodes because Guillermo del Toro, who created the show, only planned for 52. So I guess they're just going to follow him. But if you don't know, this show is about, it's on Netflix. It's a Guillermo del Toro show. Didn't say any of those words right. It's a show about it follows his books. I think he wrote books about this, and it follows a young boy who becomes a troll hunter. Trolls exist in this world, and he becomes a troll hunter, which is really, he's not hunting trolls. He's protecting the trolls that live under his town. And the trolls of all over the world, but there are some evil trolls, as there are with any property that Guillermo del Toro works with, del Toro, whatever. So this show is good. It stars Anton Yelchin, rest in peace, really good. That's apparently at some point there's going to be an event at the end of the second season that his voice changes, where it just causes his voice to change. I'm only on episode 5 because again I watch these shows in piecemeal. So we'll see what happens with that. But I wonder who they got to replace him. I didn't even look this up. It's not even, I don't think it's on the internet, but it probably is on the internet. But I don't even think I haven't even touched the Wikipedia. I haven't touched IMDb. I haven't even typed in Trollhunters. I just want to be able to watch this and be surprised. It's a really fascinating show. It's got a really good story. It's got really good character development, and it looks good. DreamWorks, if they made this show, this is a DreamWorks show, obviously. They're only people that make a cartoon for kids on Netflix. But if they made this show 5 years ago, it would look like crap. And I mean, looking at our first Dragons show, How to Train Your Dragon show, compared to the How to Train Your Dragon show now, it's like looking at the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, looking at the second How to Train Your Dragon movie. That they're just leagues apart. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's how progress is. So this Trollhunters show, it also has oh God, what is his name? Kelsey Grammer, and has a bunch of other Mark Hamill's in this season as Kelsey Grammer's brother. It's a good show, and I'd urge you to watch it. But they have planned out, there's going to be 2 spinoffs from the show. One's called 3 Below, and it's about aliens, and another one's called, oh God, I forgot what the other one's called. But anyway, they all take place in this place called Arcadia. And you're going to get it. The other one's about, oh crap, what is it called? So the second one is coming in The second one is Three Below, and that one's coming in 2019 or 2018. And then the third one, which is called, I'm trying to find it, Wizards, and I guess that's magic, and that's coming in 2019. Nothing is known about either of these. So, except for the fact that we got a little trailer from Three Below. And I assume something's going to happen in the second season, in part 2 of Trollhunters, that will it'll give us hints into Three Below, which is coming sometime next year. So we'll see about that. I'm very excited. It's such a good show. Trollhunters is so good, and I really love it. DreamWorks has managed to, and I assume I'll do this as a topic one day, but DreamWorks has managed to stand out. It's really turned the tide on itself. Marvel years ago, before Disney bought back the rights. Oh boy, I'm so angry about that. But Marvel used to was going bankrupt, on the edge of bankruptcy. That's why it sold all of its rights and assets to different studios. We got Sony, we got Fox, we got and that's it. Sony, Fox, and Disney. And then now here we are 17 years later, and we have the one company that rules them all, quite literally. It's the biggest studio in the world now in terms of assets and probably money. I don't know, right up there with Comcast. Who knows? Universal and Comcast. Who knows? I don't know. That's a very I'm not a fan of this topic. I don't think that they should have bought Fox like that, and no one cares. No one cares that they're a monopoly now. No one cares except for me and a few business analysts. People are losing their jobs. 10,000 market analysts say that up to 10,000 people will lose their jobs, across the world because of this. Because Fox had studios in Italy and all over the planet, in China and stuff like that. So, it's one studio now owns 50% of Hollywood. Or I don't know. I'm just making up numbers, but one studio owns a lot of percent of Hollywood. But it's okay if we can get more Star Wars or more superhero movies. That surely, because the bubble has not popped yet. I think the bubble's popped. I think the bubble popped a long time ago. I would say after the second Avengers movie. We just don't. I used to be a huge fan of these superhero movies, and I'm a guy who likes the DC movies. There's just too much right now. It used to be a treat, and now it is an expectation if I don't get a superhero movie every month. But I'm not lying. I am looking forward to Black Panther. Can't wait to see that. Not looking forward to Infinity War. Nor am I looking forward to any other movie besides Black Panther. I could care less about any of these other superheroes. All I want to see in the superhero forum was The Flash and Black Panther. And baby, we're getting both of those in less than a year. So, we already got both of those. They've already, but I mean, their own starting roles. So here we go. I want to move on to, speaking of movies, I saw Atomic Blonde finally this weekend. I rented it on the Redbox. I got a free rental. It was great. I just dropped a marker on the ground and I tried to pick it up and I had to lean over and stay within the mic's situation, the cardioid path of it. I could have changed it, but I didn't want to. Anyway, this is nothing. I don't know why I told you that, but Atomic Blonde is a very good, it's a very good stylized movie. It's got very good stylized direction. It's John Wick-like, mostly because it was directed by somebody who did John Wick, who co-directed John Wick, and that guy's name is David Leitch. Anyway, it's a really, Charlize Theron did a fantastic job, phenomenal. He did a really good job. It was, but I will say that I did get lost way too many times, mostly because it's a movie that takes place in the Cold War. So anyway, it's a movie about a woman whose name is the Atomic Blonde. I honestly do not know her name. And she is on a mission to find out who killed one of her operatives. And she goes to Russia. She's British. She goes to Russia, and I just ruined half the movie there. She goes to Russia and has to team up with James McAvoy's character. Turns out James McAvoy might be a sleeper agent. This happens halfway through the movie, and not sleeper agent, double agent. And then now she has to go find a way to kill him, and that's this story. There's some other things that happen that are honestly quite confusing, So if you can tell me what goes on during that Cold War story, then go ahead. But it's very beautiful. It's a very pretty film, and I'm so glad it was made. It sucks that it takes place way back in the 80s, because that would have been a wonderful time. That, like, if it took place now, or a couple of years ago, then she can meet up with John Wick and they could take place in the same universe. Oh man, I like that movie a lot. I really enjoyed it. John Goodman was in it, and Bill Skarsgård, and then we got Toby Jones and Sofia Boutella. Everybody did a good job. I don't know why I put that lilt on her name at the end of her name. Everybody did a good job. I expect to see a sequel. Especially, I want to see Charlize Theron do some more action movies, because she was near perfect. And if the Oscars want to give her some type of award for that, or anybody wants to give her some type of award for that, I'm game. And it really makes me think they should have probably put her in Ocean's 8, because she did some great stuff. Also, she could have done this in Fate of the Furious. So she could have done this in Fate of the Furious. That'd have been good. That'd have been good of her if they gave her some action scenes instead of making her basically act in front of a green screen the entire time, or act on a set the entire time. She was on an episode of The Orville. Wow. I think she's the executive producer of Mindhunter and Girl Boss. Oh my gosh. Ooh, look at her. She's a busy lady. I really need to pay attention when I do these things. Moving on. But I wanted to say that I wrote this quote down when I was thinking about this. Even though I said the story is a little bit messy, and but it still looks beautiful, and it's really good directing. I thought to myself, I continually thought to myself, I'd rather you try to be different and mess up than be simple when directing. So when this Leitch guy, when he's doing Leitch, I don't know. When he's doing his directions and he's doing all these dynamic shots, I don't think the camera stayed still for more than 5 seconds. Even the static shots, the camera was moving. But I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. It's a good quality to have. Do something different. Why would you want to be the same director? Who cares if that's the issue, part of the issue with the Marvel movies. They keep giving these. While I would love to have a hand at a big old blockbuster film, but they keep giving these younger indie directors, and they're not even younger, these indie directors, people who have literally only done indie movies, or they've done one movie, they give these big blockbuster movies to these smaller guys, and then it's not even memorable directing. It's just point and shoot. It's something that you can that if I had the chance to do it, I would do the exact same thing. You gotta get some weight under your belt. You don't want to send some kid from high school to go up against LeBron James immediately. Doesn't make sense. No, you want to get that kid to play college ball, and then you want to get him to go with a team and train with them in the NBA, and then move on and play against LeBron. You want to build up to it. You don't want to just throw him in immediately. Anyway, I also saw Ingrid Goes West. It was a double feature I had on a Saturday night. Ingrid Goes West is about Aubrey Plaza, who's a real, I don't want to say crazy or nut job, but she is a nut job. Basically, at the beginning of the movie, she was obsessed with this girl and wants her to be her best friend, and she keeps liking all the Instagram posts. She likes everybody's Instagram posts, which is scary, and this movie is so real. But I say that without any sarcasm at all. So the girl says, before the movie starts, she says she doesn't want to be friends anymore, that she's weird, she's creepy. Aubrey gets jealous, goes to her wedding and punches the girl. Aubrey gets sent to a facility where they just try to get the crazy out of her, nut job out of her, sorry. And never call a woman crazy. And then she gets obsessed with another girl, but this time this girl is Elizabeth Olsen, and she's Instagram famous, whatever that means. She has 295,000 followers, and she starts so Aubrey Plaza moves to California to find this girl, to find this woman. It's so weird. It's so crazy. It sounds so true. And she stalks her Instagram, and Elizabeth Olsen posts, and Aubrey will go to those places and read the books and buy the clothes and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just so creepy. And then they become friends. for a large part of the movie, they become friends, and then something happens where she is pushed away, and then Aubrey loses it and she goes crazy. And it's just there are only I would say 3 properties in the world that I watched and I thought, I can't do this. This is too awkward and it hurts me and it hurts my body to watch it. It's this movie, Hello Ladies, the TV show and the TV movie, and Gone Girl. Gone Girl just tightened my sphincter right up. Oh my God. But it's Ingrid Goes West is very reminiscent of Hello Ladies, because the weird, awkward, antisocial things that Stephen Merchant did on that show, it kind of correlates with what Aubrey Plaza is doing on Ingrid Goes West. And but the thing is, they're both so real. So for Ingrid Goes West, I know there's people out there who are probably listening to this, though, of the 6 of you, of the 6 of you that listen to this, there's probably one of you that just continually scrolls through Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and you like everything and you retweet everything. You're just obsessed, and you follow these other people, and and it's just such a scary. It's a warning message of don't post on the internet too much. It's God. It's so. I urge you to watch that. It's such a wonderful film. I loved it so much. One day I will review it. One day, hopefully this week. Speaking of reviews, Amazon passed on all 3 of the pilots, the recent pilots for fall 2017. It was Sea Oak and something with Bridget Everett, and another one. Sea Oak has Glenn Close in it. They're all comedies, and it sucks because they were all well received. And I was planning on watching them and reviewing them, but now I can't because they passed on all of them. So I blame that on Roy Price for being such a sexual deviant. Maybe those shows would have lived. It's not funny. This is terrible. And finally, I saw The Disaster Artist today, alone in the theater. It was great. I didn't know that AMC did tickets that were less than $10. It was wonderful. I had to go to AMC because it's the only place that's playing it. But paid $7.50 for a ticket. It's great. It's wonderful. I showed up. There were maybe 4 of the people in the theater. One guy by himself, like me, and then a couple. And we all had a wonderful time. We all sat on different corners of the theater. I sat up front because I don't want to deal with people. And then they sat behind me. It's one of those dining theaters. And I quickly said, I don't want any of your food. I have my own snacks that I tried to hide before the movie started. But I really like The Disaster Artist. I know I spoke about it last week. James Franco did a phenomenal job as Tommy Wiseau. It was great to see this movie unfold. A lot of things happened that are very funny. A lot of people were in it. Paul Scheer, Seth Rogen, Paul Scheer's wife, June Diane Raphael, and then Jason Mantzoukas. All of the How Did This Get Made crew was there. Let's see. Randall Park was in it for half a second. Hannibal Buress. And Ari Gaynor, whatever her last name is. Anyway, everybody did such a wonderful job. There were more people than that, but everybody did such a wonderful job. It's such a funny movie, and it's such a heartwarming and endearing movie, even though it was kind of weird to see this movie that is supposed to be a cult hit be made, and I don't plan on seeing it. I don't want to see it still. I don't care. Anyway, it was good. I had a good time watching it. And then finally, I want to talk about what accommodates. Why did I write that? What connotates a limited series in today's world? So, as you know, 2 weeks ago, Big Little Lies was renewed. December 13th. When was that? That was last week. Okay. Last week, Big Little Lies was renewed for a 2nd season. And now in today's world, a lot of the shows are meant, a lot of networks are taking their chances with limited run series. So for HBO, it was Big Little Lies, of course, and True Detective. They were both supposed to be limited series, but now they both have 2nd seasons. For FX, it was Fargo. For ABC, it was American Crime. Well, that's an anthology series. But anyway, limited run series nonetheless. So it's very when you first hear that a limited run series is getting a second season, you think, well, doesn't that make it a regular TV show then? And the answer is, to me, yes. To the creator of Big Little Lies, David E. Kelley, he's no, it's a limited series. And so what I'm guessing is that this second season, or maybe even possibly the third season, is going to be the final season. Why do we need a second season? Why can't something just live and be itself for the 7 episodes that it's on? Well, as with the first season of Big Little Lies, it was wonderful. It really harkened back to Desperate Housewives, and which is a show that I love. So I love both of these things, and it just doesn't make sense that they. And so the issue is that before the Golden Globe nominations went up. So the Golden Globes nominations go up maybe December 11th or 12th. Turns out that and Big Little Lies is put up as a limited series, and they get the nomination for limited series. Then the couple days later, the December 13th, it gets renewed. The show gets renewed. So for a second season, and now people are up in arms. So it does make sense to be angry about it, but I mean, apparently HBO didn't know. Apparently the deal was in talks since the summer, but HBO didn't know. David E. Kelley didn't know that. They said, hey, if the talks break down, we're gonna put it up. This is the word of them. We can only surmise as to how the discussions really went down. So yeah, I mean, is it a limited series? Sure, why not? But if the second season, when it comes, we don't know if it's coming next year. We don't know if it's coming in 2019. When it does come eventually, we don't know if it's going to be the last one or not. It could be, could not be. We'll see. But the Hollywood Foreign Press apparently lists only 2 guidelines for a limited series. And and here it is. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, from an interview with David E. Kelley. This is for the preamble from the interview with David Kelley. It says that it'd be 2 or more episodes with a total running time of at least 150 program minutes. And like Oliver Kitteridge, that was 3 episodes long. And I think they're all 90 minutes each. Or like the Band of Brothers. These are all HBO shows. Or Show Me a Hero. God, I can't believe I thought about that show. Oh, that show was like 3 years ago. And that it tell a complete non-recurring story. So that means every episode has to be a part of the bigger picture. So that means when the 7 episodes of Big Little Lies dropped, they all had to be the same story about this murder in this suburban town. So they continue on to say that the first season meets both of those, and so that's the only reason why Big Little Lies was accepted into the Golden Globe nominations. That's why I got 6 nominations, and only half are technically fall into the limited category races. All right, Hollywood Report, who wrote this? I think it's very important to know the authors of most things. Michael O'Connell. All right, Michael O'Connell, you slow your roll there, buddy boy. Oh, God. But I really do like Big Little Lies, and I'm excited to see it come back for the second season. It's just going to be very strange do we really need it? Do we really need it? Just like True Detective, the first season was, I'm not going to say masterpiece, but it was really good. But then the second season, it hit a lot of snags. And I'm not one of those people, again, who hates everything. I enjoyed it. I watched it all the way through. I watched it every Sunday night. And yeah, I noticed there was a slump, but who cares? It's a show that is tried to live up to the hype of the first season. So and honestly, that could be what happened with Big Little Lies, because that's what happened with Veep when what's his face left, the creator of the show. I can't think of his name. Oh my God, I don't even know his name. Veep creator. Let's see. When Armando Iannucci left, that show became kind of not a husk of what it was, but it was like you're playing a third person game. Like I'm playing Gears of War 4 right now. It's so stupid. And so you're kind of experiencing the story as an outsider rather than being a part of the story in the first few seasons that was on the air. Same thing I had the show in my head. I can't even think about it right now. I had a different show in my head. It's very late, and I didn't get a chance to record this episode of News Time because I was typing up an interview with Matt Iseman, the host of the TV show American Ninja Warrior. And hey, if you want to listen to a clip of that, you can check out the ending of this podcast, the last few minutes of this podcast. And also, if you want to just read the entire interview, because I don't put up the entire episode, the entire sound clip, of me interviewing people, because there's just a lot of candid talking in there, then you can go ahead and by the time this podcast is up, you can head to the website www.cpluscomedy.com for the latest news, reviews, features, and interviews, like the Matt Iseman interview that I'm doing. It'll be up by the time this podcast is up. So hopefully, we'll see. I've already typed in the interview. I sent it to his people. They're going to look it over, and then I'm going to type in the description and then get it on out of here. You can also follow us on Twitter @CPlusComedy. Follow me on Twitter @ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. You can head to the youtube.com/CPlusComedy, where we are putting up the last few episodes of News Time for the year. And, oh, shoot. I was supposed to talk about writing News Time in book. Okay, so here's what happened. For News Time, for the last 3 weeks of News Time, what I did last year was I decided to cut all the bloopers out of, because I mess up a lot. To cut all the bloopers out of the episodes. And so what I do is I edit the episodes, and if I mess up, and if it's funny to me, then I save it and I call it a bloopy, and I put it in a special folder marked bloopies. And so throughout the year, I build that up. I make 50 some odd episodes of News Time, including the intros. So I make 50 episodes of News Time, and then there's probably a blooper from, I would say, every other episode. So maybe there's a lot of bloopers though. So in total, I think there were maybe 60 or 70 bloopers. I whittled that down most of the time to 50 bloopers. I split those up between 2 videos, and now each video is probably 10 to 15 minutes in length, and it's just me messing up. It's just News Time is a very clean show, and so is this show, and not very clean, but News Time tries to be as clean as it can be, but it just comes with the subject matter. But when I do mess up, I curse a lot. So go ahead and watch that. It's really funny. I really do enjoy all of it. There's some stuff from when Greg messed up as well. So there's that. And then there's also some stuff from the 150th episode where I was interviewing myself. So there was, including that episode, I guess there's 4 episodes of News Time that don't have to do with anything about comedy news or news in general. It's just me just trying weird stuff. So go ahead and go watch that. The first part is up right now. Next week will be an episode about me counting down my favorite comedy things of the year. I call it a +5, which is a recommendation thing. And then the second part of the bloopy special will be up on January 1st. I will not stop. I will not stop because it's Christmas and New Year's. I will have to get these things made or else I will die. So go ahead and watch all 3 of those videos. And then we'll be back to a regular News Time coverage. I already have it planned out. I actually already have it written out too. It's one of those episodes I was writing out when my friends ditched me when they were supposed to shoot News Time for me. And then I had to stop in the middle of writing it because I realized that it would be better to have that episode premiere on the day that the thing happens. So go ahead and watch the bloopy and get ready for more News Time. Anyway, stick to the end of this podcast for Matt Iseman. Just a clip of it. Just a clip. And he's the host of American Ninja Warrior. He's a host of he's a co-host on Home and Family on Hallmark Channel. And he does standing up comedy, and that's what we talked about. He's a really nice guy, and he was really excited to talk to me about comedy. He even told me that, and that's the reason why I know that. And it was great, and it was funny, and we have a mutual acquaintance in Jimmy Pardo. He knows Jimmy Pardo. I met Jimmy Pardo. That's how we're connected. I met Jimmy Pardo once, and I embarrassed myself. Okay, all right, bye.
Now, you say you hate traveling, but you have suddenly found an interest in airports with Don't Embarrass Me and being able to make an ass of yourself.
Yes. So, that was one of the coolest things about it was Matt Rogers is one of my dear friends. And whenever we were together, we're just constantly, 2 brothers, busting balls, trying to make each other laugh, trying to embarrass each other. And one of the cool things with technology is he's in Nashville. He's flying a lot. I'm in LA. I'm flying a lot. But with Instagram, now they allow this conversations where you can have two people on. And we just had the idea of, this is what we would be doing if we were together. Why not do this to make the time go by, to just embarrass each other and have fun? And it's one of those things where I think, when you try to come up with something clever or to come up with the next idea, to me, when people say, how do you come up with a show? I'm like, do something that you want to do and that makes you laugh. Because I think, if you try to be too clever or something that's people sensitive, like Rogers and I don't care if nobody watches that. Him making me do ridiculous things or vice versa, I'm having a blast. So whether anyone's watching or not, it's a great time. It's a great way to pass the time. But then I'm at my shows, and, one of the things was they yelled out dilly dilly. He was like, you got to yell dilly dilly to 10 people and get them to respond. And so at the show, people started yelling out dilly dilly to me. I'm like, holy, people actually watch this stuff. And so it's amazing to me as I look at it. Social media is such a tool for comedians. And it can be, again, you can lose your job with it, but at the same time, you can be so creative where you can reach your crowd in ways that were never possible before. Now, obviously with, billions of people on, it's so hard to stand out, but at the same time, it's also where you can get so much experience, because I think so often in comedy, we're fighting for stage time, we're fighting for an audience. You can go online and Facebook and have an audience at 4 a.m, and it might be 3 people, but you're performing. And I find that, honestly, sometimes I was talking to my buddy, PJ Walsh, one of my dearest friends. We were in San Antonio, and I was tired. We've been doing press all day. And I just jumped on Facebook right before the show, and it's just like that sense of, hey, people are watching, you're performing. And it just got me into that space. Like we talk about, when you go on stage, you want to be in that space where you are your best self, your funniest self, your most creative self, where you have something you want to say. And it's a fun way to be able to use this technology to reach people, and at the same time get you into your state where you're like, I'm ready to take the stage and have a blast.